Overlord. Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to take a look at literally one of the best anime battles ever. Clementine, the former member of the Black Scripture, versus Ainz Ooal Gown, the former human and now cold-hearted overlord of the Great Tomb of Nazarick. But before we're going to do so, let me thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function to make one-time donations. Now with that said, let's get into why this battle is so awesome. First and foremost, it isn't just a contest of power, which I always found to be the most boring reason to fight, on its own at least. I mean, this show right here is called Naruto, and watching Naruto fight against Shinobi X is less exciting because, well, the show is called Naruto, and not Neji, Gaara or Sasuke. But the fight of Gaara against Rock Lee was open-ended, and full of surprises and emotions. The clash of the hard-working underdog and the gifted, horrifying threat that Gaara used to be was awesome to watch, and the same applies to this battle right here, although no one would be surprised who won at the end. First and foremost, let's turn our attention to the girl in the bikini armor, Clementine. She looks, on first glance, more like a fanservice character, and let's be honest, she in part certainly is one. But there's also a great in-universe explanation for her bikini armor. Clementine is a sadist, and apparently had always been one. Why she's so deranged isn't confirmed, but Clementine teased and hinted that she was neglected, and always stood in the shadow of her big brother, who still is a respected member of the Black Scripture. So basically she could have made up origin stories, like the Joker did in Batman The Dark Knight. And again, I'm not saying that one of these stories isn't true, but it could also just be Clementine taunting her victims. And as you have probably guessed it, Clementine is a full-on sadist. She literally gains pleasure from the suffering of her victims, and she had enough power to make basically anyone suffer, with her sadistic impulses controlling much of her behavior and forming much of her character, as well as being stronger than adamantite-ranked adventurers such as Gazev Stronov. She therefore also makes an incredibly deadly opponent and an even deadlier captor. She is also extremely quick to anger and quick on her feet. Her incredible agility enables her to wield weapons in order to find the smallest weak points between armor platings, or, in some cases, the very eyes of her opponents, while she is also able to dodge even the heaviest attacks flung at her, and if not, she can simply deflect it with one of her martial arts. And her bikini armor is comprised of the dog tags of killed adventurers. After being unable to recover her Black Scripture clothes, she just literally displayed her kink in the open, even while being clothed. On the opposite side we have Ainz. The former human never killed anyone until recently, or saw a lot of blood or violence IRL. He was just a lonely guy, mourning the loss of his friends. And now that he had become his avatar, his emotions were constantly suppressed and kept in an artificial cold equilibrium thanks to his new body. So we literally have two opposite characters, and here things are getting even better, because the difference in personality shows so much during this fight. Especially in the anime, Clementine's voice is unstable. It cracks, changes pitch, tone, and loudness quite frequently. She also taunts and belittles her opponent in order to get a reaction out of him, and she even stated that she can't get pleasure out of the coming battle when her opponent just remains calm. But in truth, Ainz Ooal Gown was anything but calm. He, albeit within his now narrowed range of emotion, wanted to take revenge, especially after Clementine had taunted him how he made the adventurer group, and especially the girl, Nina, suffer extensively. But with his emotions suppressed, what would normally have been a hot burning anger, delivered with the fury of a mastiff foaming at his mouth, froze into a solid, unmoving pillar of pure, cold desire for revenge. And this shows so much in their fighting style. Ainz Ooal Gown planning his revenge well into advance, approached the battle so mechanically that it really impressed this German speaking to you right now. Ainz not only wanted to take revenge, but he was also on a mission. He wanted to understand more about this world, its inhabitants and powers. That's why he stayed so cold and passive. He wanted to observe Clementine and learn from arguably one of the best fighters in the New World. And he learned not only about the existence of martial arts and their effects, but also about fighting stances, positioning, weapon range. And he mastered more and more of his now enhanced senses by being able to keep track of the fast-moving assassin, something that was vital in his fight against Sheltia later on in this story. Clementine's hot-blooded, pleasure-seeking, unhinged fighting style and Mormont's passive, cold-observing, planning stance perfectly characterized these two opponents. And ultimately, Clementine has gotten what she had always needed: a very strong, tight hug. Clementine did many things during her many years as a hot-blooded killer, but she was never devoid of emotions and calm during such crucial moments of life and death. Watching how Ainz Ooal Gown stood unmoving, listening to him not only explaining that he was a caster, but also so far above Clementine that he had deliberately handicapped himself, but also coldly stating how he has planned his revenge in advance, only to then adapt his plan to a changing situation. He wouldn't use a small knife, a dagger, that until recently had been a symbol of the Swords of Darkness, of the adventurer team Clementine had killed, since Clementine had been too agile for this. No, he would simply crush her. And instead of now displaying visible signs of excitement, Ainz instead stated calmly about his observation how Clementine had taken time killing Nina. This not only shattered Clementine's entire sense of self and her superiority, but also, for the first time in her life, she was at the receiving end of her own cruel sadistic deeds. And the more she realized that there was no way out, the more she panicked. She lost her inhibitions, smashed first her hand and head, and then ultimately her teeth against the skull of Ainz Ooal Gown, only to have all of them broken, before being crushed by the undead Overlord. And lastly, I have to say that the fight, Kakashi vs Obito, is awesome, because you can really feel all of the emotions, the friendship, camaraderie, their pain, their love, hate, desire and their sacrifices that ultimately turned them into the persons that they were now. Watching this clash was one of the greatest highlights in all of Shippuden. But it also takes a huge amount of skill, both in the light novel and the anime, of showing us the faint, and I mean very faint emotions, the undead Overlord still feels, while contrasting them with Clementine's excited and expressive whirlwind of feelings and desires. It's like filming the ignition of a match, while holding the flimsy stick of fire right in front of the midday sun. And with this last praise, I hope you now understand why this is, at least in my opinion, one of the greatest fights in all of anime. And with that said, I will end this video. Thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Bad Guy Yi, Ben C, Chrissy, Crowley0221, Sia, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Moreno, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Okill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Texas Deer, the Orc War Boss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, The Short Guy, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, and Sonnegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.